Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dilmer again and welcome back to my channel. So I'm pretty excited today because I'm actually going to be showing you how I work in my game. I've been doing videos about Unity and different things in Unity, and I think it's time for me to continue working on my game as well as doing some of those videos. So today I'm going to be working on the cannon. We're going to be looking at how I model a cannon by using Maya 3D. I also did some scripting in Unity for the cannon that I'm working on. So let's jump into Unity and Maya and let me show you what I have so far. Alright guys, let me show you what I've been working on the last few days. And I'm going to open Maya and let me clone a new repository. So I'm going to go into Bitbucket, and I've been keeping some of the 3D models in Bitbucket. So the way that I set it up is I have my repository with all my code, and then I have another repository that matches that same name, and then underscore models. So that's everything that it's coming from Maya. So I'm using a new computer, so let me just clone it. And I'm just going to copy it to the directory. And it's actually pretty small. So if I look at Demolition Co models, these are all the models that I created so far. And if I go into Maya, now I should be able to see the Demolition Co models. And the one that I've been working on is the props cannon. So let me show you that. I'm not gonna save the scene, and we can open that scene. And it's very basic. So the idea is that I will use the arrows to basically tilt it. So if I wanted to tilt this part, I could simply, move the arrow to tilt it up and down. I can also, let me make sure that I have my keys correct. I've been using a new computer. Okay, there we go. But if I want to pan, let me make sure. All right, I'll worry about that later. But I can, so if I move these to right or left, let's say that I'm holding and dragging, this is going to rotate the entire structure. And it's going to, if I go into my hierarchy and I look at the way that I set it up is I have, the big cannon, which is everything, so that's the parent. Then the center, it's going to be also the whole thing. So this is my parent, this is the model that controls everything. The cannon mid, which is the middle section, is going to control the rotation of the entire cannon and the middle part, which is in yellow. Then the other part, it's going to be the cannon part. So in Unity, what I'm going to be doing is, if you look at it, I have the pivot position doesn't really match, and that's fine. In Unity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to override the pivot and basically center in this circle area. So when I move the cannon up and down, it's going to be relative to the center of the pivot of the cannon. Then the other pieces are going to be the pieces that are on the bottom. So this is going to allow you to drag it to the back, drag it to the left, and then right. And then this is going to be, the middle part will be the rotation, and the arrows here will be the tilt. So I already went out and exported to Unity, and really all I had to do is just select cannon and then go to File, send to Unity, and then do selection. So that's all I had to do. So I'm going to close out of Maya so we can concentrate in Unity. So let me go into Unity, and I'll show you the model that I've been working on, the actual prefab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a scene. So the scene that you're looking at right now is the game scene. This is where everything is basically loaded dynamically. So I want to show you another scene that I use for development of props. So I call it demo props. And if I open that one up, you'll see that, let me look at, okay, perfect. And you can see that it has multiple props in there. I don't like how the lighting for some reason is not looking just right. And I just recently Just recently upgraded to 2018 3.3 F1. I was on 2018 3.0, so I wonder if some of the lighting just got messed up, which looks like it probably did. Or we can just, yeah, looks like the lighting, it's off. But that's fine. I can go into my camera, look at the game. Oh, actually that actually looks good. Oh, that was strange. I went to game and then back to scene, and now it's looking fine. It's actually too bright now. Okay, I like how it looks. So this is how it's supposed to look. Perfect. So if I look at the Canon itself and I go into, so now that Unity, the new version of Unity has prefabs that you can actually nest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that prefab and show you the setup. So this is my Canon, the one that I was showing you in Maya. And the structure is pretty much the same. I have the Canon as the parent. Then this piece is controlling everything else, so the entire component. Then I have my Canon mid part, which is the middle section, which is the one that is going to rotate from left to right. I also have, if I look at the Canon part, so this is the piece that I was telling you about that I needed to modify the pivot point. Let me actually change this to global. So I downloaded a component out of the asset store that allows me to modify the pivot point. And let me show you what that one is so that you can also use it. Just expand everything here, expand that as well. And to be honest, I don't even remember what the name was. I know it's something called Pivot. These are all the packages. I can check in the asset store and tell you, but it basically is going to give you this option of move pivot. So if you search for pivot, it's going to be very clear, the one that you'll need. So I didn't download the Pro version. I only downloaded the Super Pivot free version, and that gave me that option. That's really all I needed. I haven't really looked into what's available on the Pro. So if you just need to modify the pivot position, I think that this one is going to work just fine. So let me go back into it. So once you have that, then you can basically just click that, and it'll allow you to modify the pivot position just like you're seeing right now. So I'm just going to stop. So I have it in there. It's set correctly. So the cool thing with that is now what I can do is I can rotate. Because if you remember, I want to be able to drag these arrows, and it's going to basically allow me to tilt it up or tilt it down. So I'm going to undo. And so yeah, so that's all I have. I have also the rotate arrows, which is another component. And all the pieces that I need to move are part of the hierarchy. So like this will be the whole thing, because we're going to be dragging using these arrows, dragging from the right, left, up, forward, or backward. The same thing with this one. This one is going to be rotating in all directions. And then lastly, the Canon part is the one that is we're only going to allow people to tilt it. So let me show you the code. So if you notice, if I click on the Canon mid, I have a script associated which is called machine rotation. If I click on the Canon part, I have another script that is called machine tilt. And lastly, if I click on the Canon center, I have another script called machine movement. And they have some different settings, which I'm going to show you actually in the code. So what I'm going to do here is, before we keep going, is I'm going to change the rotation speed to 250. I'm also going to do it in the machine tilt to 250, because I think the numbers that I had were just too low. Okay, now we can go back and basically make sure I don't have any changes on the prefab. Okay, perfect. So if I go into my camera, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, I want to look at the view possibly like this so that we can see what's happening with the Canon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into camera object and actually click on the camera itself and then align with view so that we have that view of the camera. We possibly could move out just a tiny bit, and we can go up just a tiny bit, perfect. And then this is gonna be our view for the game. And I think all of that, it's working. Okay, so now let's just say play. And the cranes are gonna release the iron balls, and it's gonna hit the logo. So this was a test that I was doing, and we can ignore that piece for now. And so if I select, so you can see that I can rotate from right and left. Let me actually, on the cranes itself, I'm going to disable them. I don't want the crane to, well, what we can do is, instead of disabling, just gonna move them out so they're out of the way. And okay, perfect. So we're just gonna move this guy so it doesn't hit the logo. I'm also gonna move this guy back a tiny bit more so we don't hit the logo, and perfect. So now I'm gonna go back to the game and we're gonna hit play. And the cranes are gonna release the iron ball again, but we shouldn't be hitting, hopefully we're not hitting anything. Yeah, looks like that's fine. So you can see that I can now rotate it from left to right. Can actually go all the way. I can keep rotating. So that part it's working. I can go, I don't think that's working just right because it's rotating incorrectly. So I gotta fix that. The other part that I also have to fix is this piece. I can't really drag it right now. The reason why I can't drag it is because this is only gonna work on the grid. So let me just hit play one more time to stop it and play one more time to replay it. So the way that I coded it is in the real game mode, I have a grid all around, and then as you drag this piece, it's gonna snap to the grid. I'm also getting some arrows. Let's see what this is. On the camera movement, that's fine. I don't think I need to worry about those for now. It's kind of clear. And let me do one thing here where we're gonna be looking at the cannon. So if you look at the cannon, if I expand it, I have this bypass, basically bypassing the grid. So if I select that, hit play, I should be able to bypass it. Still, it's gonna try to snap it. And yeah, that is really not working. It's trying to snap to random places, which is not correct, but that's okay. We can, this is actually bugging me, so I'm gonna open object not set to a reference of an object. Of course, I'm getting spoiler over instance rate cast. Okay, I think I know why. It's because this is expecting a grid to be there. So that's okay. So what I'm gonna do next, I know that this piece, it's working, it's just not working in this mode. So I'm going to make a few changes to this, because one thing that I noticed is the tilting wasn't working quite right. And so this is all fine. Let me go into the scene view, and if I move up and down, I think that part should be fine. And just make sure we go back to the game and undo, and let's just hit play. Let me make sure that that piece is working. If it's not, we're gonna have to fix it. And I don't think that piece is working just right. Let me see. I wonder if it's the rotation that I have on the cannon right now. So I'm gonna set that to 0, and I think everything else should be okay. Then the entire thing, we can rotate it. I think that's what's happening is I had it, so we can do 300, it's fine. And so that we're aligned in a way. And this guy, camera movement, let me look. Okay, so I'll just ignore it for now. And we're gonna hit play. Let's see if the camera is itself, it's causing, I think that part should be fine. Camera movement manager, which is this guy. Oh, and it doesn't have a target. Okay, so that's okay. Let's just ignore that piece. And Canon camera base concrete. Okay, let's just hit play one more time. And we're still getting that weird. I think what happened is I changed something on the actual pivot when I was showing you guys, and I might have broken something. So let me go here, back at the Canon mid, and actually Canon part, which is the one that is gonna rotate. And let me go back in mode pivot, and yeah, if you see how that pivot has like a little bit of rotation, I think that's what's actually happening. So let me see. So this is gonna be the world position. If I zero everything out, and I don't like that this is rotated. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set it back to 0. So now we're looking at it from, I'm also gonna set this one to 0, this one to 0, and let me make sure everything else. Okay, now our Canon part, which is the one that we need to worry about. Now I'm gonna click on, okay, so now everything is aligned. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go make sure that this is, I'm gonna go to orthographic view. I think that looks good. Then I'm gonna go to X. I'm gonna move it up. So this is what I did before I show you guys in the video. So this is actually a really good exercise. So I'm gonna move right there and right about there. And okay, so move it down a tiny bit. Let me go up. And we need to go up a tiny bit more. Actually, right there. Stop moving the pivot. And now if we do, okay, excellent. So that stuff should be working now. And if I do it again, perfect. Just afraid that sometimes it's gonna lose my changes. Okay, so this is looking great. I'm gonna go back, and it's gonna save my changes, and perfect, and excellent. So okay, so now let's just hit play, and if we do, interesting, that's still not rotating quite right. Let me go into our script, and I'm gonna go inside and go into Visual Studio Code. And well, I guess this is a good time for me to show you the way that the script is working, which I think I see the issue. Let me try, instead of world, I'm gonna do self. So I was actually trying to rotate on world coordinate. So let me go back, go to play, go to game mode, and then hit play. And let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so that was the issue. So what I was doing, I was rotating in world coordinates instead of local. So that part is working. So let's say I want to shoot it up, and then I want to, that's cool. And then I want to rotate the whole thing, and I want to move it down. So let's say that we had, so that's the idea, so that I can rotate it. And let's say that we have a big construction over there, and I wanted to aim to that. The other thing that I think it's hard, it's to, I can't really select those areas. So let me modify the, this is bugging me a lot too. Let's actually fix this. The camera movement manager. Let me see where I'm creating. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked at this code for a while since I've been doing way too many YouTube videos and I need to get back on track. So if I look at my camera movement, and this is going to be registered. Okay, so the game manager is the one that is creating that piece, and I don't believe I have a game manager anywhere in here. So one easy way to test this, if I look at so this only has post-processing effects, and base concrete. Because I'm gonna need that for sure. I don't really need the cranes or anything else because I want to focus on that guy. That's what I should have done from the very beginning. So let me see if I get that error after that. Because those managers are only going to be created during the real game. So I don't really need to create those right now because I'm just testing specific pieces. So in this case, that's working fine. It's working fine. It's when you get about like right there that it doesn't work. I think the colliders might be just too big. So let me go back into the Canon and we're gonna look at that specifically. Excellent. And I think that, yeah, because I think what's gonna happen is if I go right there, that's actually going to, yeah, so the raycast is gonna try to hit it and it won't be able to, I won't be able to touch those. So let's modify the size a tiny bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my collider here and I'm going to change the size of Z. And I like that. Let me go change the center of Z right about there. We can go a little smaller on Y, and we can actually offset it a tiny bit. So now if we go, I think that it's perfect right there. And then on the Canon mid, I think we can actually go out more right about there. We don't need, that doesn't need to be that big on Y, because that actually, okay, I like that. And yeah, I'm happy with that. Perfect. And then the last one is the bottom part, which I already have a collider associated with it. I actually gonna make it, let's actually make it bigger so that we can align with the other one. Go here and perfect. So right about there. And we'll just do 5.4 and then 7.3. And then on this one we can do 2.6. I don't like when we have too many decimals. Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do just to test this, we're gonna add one over there, we're gonna add one here, and we'll add one there. Then maybe this one we can rotate it. So we can do multiple components, multiple game objects, so we can see if things are working fine. And we can just hit play. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's see. So I can rotate it, I can move it up, I can do the same thing with this one. That's pretty cool. I get excited with simple things, but I think it's cool because I know that this is gonna be a really, really fun mechanic that we're gonna be adding to our game. That's really, really cool. Awesome. So I think that part is working. So the next thing that I wanna do is add it to the game. So let me hit play again to stop it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep multiple canons. I kinda like that. So I'm gonna say, we can just say that this is Canon 1, this one is going to be Canon 2, this one is going to be Canon 3, and then this one is going to be Canon 4. And we'll save the scene. Perfect. And then let me check to see. That was the main controller on that guy. I think I'm gonna leave everything else disabled because we really don't need anything else. So I'm gonna leave all that like that. Perfect. And then what I'll do is now let's go into the other scene. So I'm gonna go to project, and this is the demo props Unity scene that I was showing you. Then we'll go into the real scene. Let me actually make sure that this is, oh, I see. Okay, I have a change to make. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rename this back to Canon and then hit apply. Okay, perfect. So now we should have our Canon should have the right name. And if we go back into the game, perfect. And this is what I'm going to show you how this works. Let me make a change on the structure of this. So I want to see almost everything. Okay, perfect. Now we can move the project pane up. Okay, excellent. And I'm gonna hit play. So this is a scene that is gonna run when we go live in the, either for the VR game or for Magic Leap or for iOS. So it's basically everything that I have right now are placeholders, but keep an eye on the right hierarchy. If you notice, I have multiple managers for different things. I have like a destruction manager, inventory manager, and input manager, and each of them are responsible for basically what their name is. So if I go to level 1, I can rotate everything, and here's my inventory. These are the things that I have right now. So if I select the granite, I can basically put it there. If I want to do a dynamite, I can put it there. I can also zoom in to make sure that maybe if I don't like that, I can move it and put it right there, or I might want to put it right there if I want to destroy this strategically, or I may want to put one just right there, right behind the dumpster. Excellent. So the way that the cranes is going to work is, if I select the crane, I'm going to get a grid. If I go to the game view, you can see that I'm actually laying out a grid. And this is a grid that is going to allow we're going to allow to basically to put the cannon on. So right now I have, this is specifically for the crane. So if I select this area, I can move the crane, I can move it back, and basically I can go up and down. I can rotate it to the right or left, and that's the idea. So that I want to, if I have a tall structure, I might want to go up, and if I want to put another one right here, and basically hit that lamp, I can do that as well. So the other thing that I want to do, so I want to add a cannon, but I don't have a button for the cannon just yet. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's actually do that next. So let me go into the scene view, and I'm going to show you how the UI is set up. And let me go. So I'm going to go to Canvas, and in the gameplay pane, I'm going to go to the inspector. And right now I have an alpha. I have the alpha set to 0. Just that's how these ones work. Is they are disabled, they're not active, and then I use the alpha to determine, when to show it and when to hide it. So I'm gonna set it to 1 so that we can work on this piece independently. And then in here you can see that I have a granite button, I have a crane button. So I'm gonna have to do multiple things to allow adding another button. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clone this guy, the crane, and I'm gonna move it to the left just a tiny bit, and the debug window can actually move as well. So let me go and grab the crane, and this one is gonna be called cannon, and I'm gonna remove the number from that, and I think that's perfect there. And if you look at the crane, I mean, none of these ones have an on-click associated with it, and the reason for that is because I'm actually doing that in code. So we're gonna do that next. Okay, and then I'm not gonna worry too much about the icon just yet. We can do that in another time. Just know that the first one is gonna be for the Canon. And let me see. I could actually, for now, we can move. We could do something like this so that we know that this one is for the Canon. And I can just offset it a tiny bit. There we go. So that's going to be our Canon, and then this one is going to be for our crane. So the next thing that I'll do, let's go into Visual Studio Code, and we're going to not search for anything. Go back into all files, and I have to make some changes on the input manager. Yeah, so we'll need to add a new bound that we need, because we need to bind to it. So if you notice, I have a crane button here that I'm associating with, and I'm gonna do a new button for the Canon, and we'll just say this is gonna be searching for the Canon button. So it's gonna try to get that component, and then once I find that component, we're gonna bind it to a method. So in the method, I need to do, so I have all these methods are basically just determining what the inventory item selected is, and then based on the inventory selected, I either show or hide the node map. The reason why I do this in some cases is because only when I'm selecting a bump, granite, or any other item except for the crane, that's when I'm going to be hiding the grid, because I actually don't need the grid. So I'll do some refactoring on this. So for now, we're just going to keep the same pattern. So we're just going to say set Canon, and I probably, I did add an enum. So let me show you. Let's go to the definition on this. So this is just an enum that determines, if I'm selecting a bomb, if I'm selecting a granite, a crane, a Canon, and each of them have an integer associated with it. So I already added the Canon, so we're good with that. And let me make sure. Okay, so everything is good. So let's go back up to the on-click event, make sure that it is mapped to the right thing, and we'll just map this one to set Canon. So when we click it, we're going to call set Canon. Okay, excellent. And the other thing that I need to do is actually instantiate that. So what I'm going to do is, let's go and find, and let me do instantiate search. And I believe I was doing that. Okay, there you go. You're gonna laugh, but I didn't remember where I was doing that. It's been a while since I looked at the code. Okay, perfect. So this is my inventory manager. So this is what's keeping track of what items I have in the inventory, which ones I'm using, and it's also instantiating different objects. So when I select a bump, this is just determining if I can place a bump at a specific location. And if I can, because I only want to place a bump in the structure mask, I don't want to allow people to place bumps in the grid or other areas where I wouldn't want to allow it. Then the same thing with the granite, the same thing with the crane. So that the crane, I only want to allow people to place a crane in one of the nodes. So I'm going to do the same thing with the Canon. So I'll just do this, and I'll just change this to Canon. So if the item selected is of type Canon, and we are selecting also the node, then we're going to allow instantiating that. So the prefab, let's go back into Unity, and let's go into our project. And the prefab, I didn't place in that same location. So if I go to resources, let's go into resources, and this is where I put the crane. So if we want to do something similar to So what I've been doing for the models that I create in Maya, I've been placing them in under prefabs. So we can actually just use this location. So I'll just do fbx underscore prefabs, and we'll do that, and then we'll just say Canon. Let's go back here, make sure that is correct. So yep, and then Canon. Excellent. That's going to be of type game object, and we're going to set it at that position. So this is fine. This should work just fine. So I have a granite, and excellent. And raycast a collider. If the tag is this, then I destroy. So let me do the same thing with, let me see what this does before we add more things to the code. And I'm gonna go back into Unity, and we have this already mapped. Yeah, I think everything is set up correctly. So let's go into the pane, and I'm gonna set the alpha to 0. We're gonna go back to the game, and then hit play. So I'm gonna hit play, I'm gonna hit level 1, and we're basically just gonna click on this button, and of course nothing is happening, because nothing works the first time, right? Okay, so let me see. So I have my crane, I have my cannon. Let me see what I did wrong in here. And where the inventory. Oh, I see what I did wrong. So if you notice, oh, I don't think this should matter because I have that set. So what I'm gonna do is let me make sure that this is getting executed. So I'll just say log. Oh, I think I know why. Because if you notice, I actually had a 0 in the inventory, so I don't have any cannons. So this is really cool. So what I can actually do is, the way that I set up the levels is I create them, I keep them in a file. So if I go to resources, and let me see, prefab structures. Where did I put that stuff? It's actually a JSON file that I use to store for each level. So if I go to prefab structures, yeah, I don't know why I put that under prefabs. It shouldn't be under prefabs, but anyway, so I'll move that as well. So level 1.json contains everything that is available on level 1. So you can see that I have bombs, I have granites, but I have 0 cannons, so I need to increment the value. Let's say that I wanted to add 10. So again, I can go in and change that value, go back into Unity. I don't need to restart the game. I can just say reload level data. And if everything works, that should work. So I have cannon, and I don't think that worked. So we'll just hit play again, stop the game. That was the idea, that I could click on reload. So we'll go and do it one more time. I don't think it's loading correctly. So I am on level 1. Let me change the bombs to say 77 and see if this file is getting loaded, or if I miss something else in the inventory. So I'm going to hit play, and okay, so the file is getting loaded. For some reason, it's not loading this item of type cannon. Okay, so let's look at the inventory manager and make sure that everything. So what I'm doing is loading the inventory, getting the entity. So this is per level. So let me see. This is to use the inventory. This is to get items from the inventory. This is to load each level, getting an entity, destroy everything. Okay, let me go into the game manager, which is actually the one that controls everything. So go to the game manager, scroll up, and initialize Okay, so this is what I wanted to look at. Level manager, low level. Okay, and then go to definition. So I think that it's fine. Let me look a couple of more things in here. The other thing that I'm thinking about is this has a crane and the text. Let me see if the Canon. So the Canon also didn't get. Okay, so let's go back into. Okay, let me go back into the inventory manager. And I am calling buying button, setup rigid body, setup node. Okay, now in the inventory manager, I am loading everything. Okay, current inventory. Let's go to get entity. And this is, okay, I see. And then level entity. So I got an inventory entity here, type item. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do, just to make sure, is I'm going to add a breakpoint just to make sure that everything is getting loaded. It's gonna be something very simple, like it always is. So I'm going to load the Unity debugger, and that's fine. Then I'm just gonna hit play to attach to the debugger. And perfect, so that debugger is loaded. Let's go back into Unity, and let me just click on reload, step over. Now I can see everything that is. So in this specific level, I have 5 items. Or actually, these are for all the levels that I have in the game. So 0 is going to be for level 1, so we can see what do we have in inventory for level 1. If I can expand that, there we go. So I have 7 bombs, I have 2 granites, I have 10 cranes, and I have cannon, I have 10 of them. So it looks like the data, it's loading fine. So let's go and we can do, oh, okay, that's what I want to do, is go into the refresh inventory, call back, pick definition. Let's actually go to definition. Oh, okay, I see what I'm doing wrong. So I wasn't getting the, I'm not getting the counts for anything that I have under cannons. So this is what I'm going to add a new line. And this one is going to be for the cannon entity. And we'll just do, we'll get the quantity. And this is going to be cannon. We'll need to get something else in here for the text. So I have to create a new variable. This one is going to be cannon text. And I'll have to map it in the GUI. This is in the UI manager. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm doing that. Okay, perfect. So now let's go down here and just map cannon text. So what I'm doing right now is I'm saying, okay, inventory manager instance, get me the inventory and tell me how many items do I have of type cannon. Then I get the data back, and then I basically just say, okay, for the GUI cannon text, change the text property and then set it to the quantity that I have set in my entity. So that's perfect. I think I need to do one more thing on the UI manager. So if I go into UI manager, I need to actually map this new property to the cannon text. So there's going to be cannon text, and all of that. Perfect. So now we can hit play, and we can see if we're getting the cannon information. So hit play, 1, and now we're getting 10. So instead of doing 10, 10, let's go back into my solution, go back into 1. All right, let's add 5 for the cannon. Let's go back into Unity. And I'm going to hit play one more time. And let the game create all the instances. Okay, perfect. It's going to hit play. And we should now have 5. So if I click on the 10, you can see I can place the crane. If I hit on the 5, and that piece is not quite working because I'm not seeing. I actually lost everything. And yeah, looks like I'm only able to place cranes. Let me try it one more time. So I'm gonna hit play and see. Let me see what's happening. Okay, and I'm gonna hit play. Level 1. So if we select this one, we're not seeing the grid. So let's go into. So I'm gonna go into my input manager, and we can actually just close this. Excellent. And I think I did everything that we needed to do here. I have the cannon on click, set cannon. So all those things are working fine. So what I'm gonna do, let's just search for crane. Oh, I see what's happening. So we're only looking for, yeah. So what I'm gonna do here is, let's do an OR. I need to refactor this code, to be honest. For now, we'll just do it this way. And I'll just search for crane one more time. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go back into Unity. And I'm gonna hit play twice, one to stop it, one to restart it. And if this doesn't work, we'll just add some debug entries. And looks like that piece is working. And yay, look at that. We have our cannons. Actually pretty fun. So I can move it. Let me see if I can actually, oh yeah, and that part is working too. Cool. I'm surprised because honestly there's a lot of things that I need to refactor in the game. So we'll just add one there. See if I can. Yeah, and I think there's an issue because I only added 2 and it's counting multiple. So I'll have to fix that too. So if I reload data, I can get more. Oh yeah, see, as I'm clicking, it's adding more. I think what's happening, they're actually in there. It's just one on top of each other. And let me see if I can, oh yeah, I can move it around. And we can move that one to there. Let's see if we can add cranes too. We have a crane there that is pointing on the wrong direction. We'll add another crane right there, another one right here. We'll add a few bombs. And I don't like when it's actually getting rid of the grid. I actually like the grid quite a bit because it adds more lighting. So I just want to add, let's add a couple more bombs so we can destroy the whole thing. And I'll just bring the grid back. And that's honestly everything. Let's just hit it. Let's hit start and see what happens. And of course, we haven't really coded the part where we're shooting a ball from the cannon. So that's the next thing that we'll work on. And the other thing that I'll work on is actually fixing the dragging of this because it's quite not working. I can rotate it, but for some reason, yeah, I don't think the selection is working quite right. But I'm happy with the results, and I hope that this was helpful and I didn't confuse you that much. I will work on the next session, and we'll work together on getting some of these issues fixed, and also getting the cannonball to shoot a ball by using physics. So if you guys have any questions, let me know through the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Thank you guys.